Okay, good morning. Lingo's here, pressure-free.com. I'm in my son's home studio at my son and daughter-in-law's house. And so we've got guitars on the wall and nice plants. I mean, it's a pretty nice setup here. Complaining, that's the topic today. Years ago, I read a study that talked about how North Americans, on average, complain about 20 minutes a day about the weather and time. And then they complain that they don't have enough time. And I think that was about the same time that I came across Will Bowen, who is the complaint-free world guy. And I read his book and decided to do his program where you try to go 21 days in a row without complaining. And silly me, I thought that probably starting it on a weekend would be a good idea. And so, okay, I'm going to start. And by the way, he would have you take like a rubber band. He had his own called the Complaint Free World Purple Rubber Band. I didn't have that. I just used some rings. So I was taking these rings and taking them back and forth over my hand. So every time you made a complaint, you'd pull off the rings, put them on the other hand, or pull off the rubber band, put it on the other hand. And you're trying to go 21 days without moving the whatever it is you're switching back and forth. So I decided I'm going to do it on a weekend. And all three of our boys played travel hockey. I was with my son, my middle son, whose home I am right now. And that particular year, we didn't have a team in our town for his age group. So he ended up playing out of another city, which means we were traveling even for the home games. So I was with him because my husband was coaching one of the other boys' teams. So it was the two of us always doing this. And I thought, okay, that's I'm going to start on a Saturday, taking him over to hockey. It'll be easy. I won't complain much. I had to shift my little rings about 20 times during that game because I was being super tough, not just even if I mouthed a complaint. Like in hockey, is a youth hockey, parents can yell at their own kid, at any kid on this team, any kid on the other team, and the parents. Like you can just say things. It's crazy how that goes. And so I'd be like, pass the puck. Well, that's a complaint, right? Switch the rings. So 20 times, even if I thought it, again, I was being pretty tough on myself to because I want to just really lower the amount of times I'm thinking a complaint. Little did I know, fast forward, I create pressure free and I start digging into the research about the thoughts we have, how the thoughts we have affect every bit of our DNA. Uh, just fascinating studies and research. And by lowering the amount of times I was complaining, I was actually lowering the amount of times that I was triggering the fight or flight stress response. But I didn't know that because I thought the stress response was something that was only triggered in a massive way when you get really, really nervous or really, really angry. But we can trigger it for just the most subtle little things. So a subtle complaint could get to the point where you actually release an abundance of stress hormones. So so that's so cool, to actually lower the amount of complaining was lowering the amount of how many times I was releasing these hormones in a day. That makes me a better person. That makes me a more calm, confident, less crazy, less reactive person in everything. So noticing what you complain about, it's you'll probably have some ones that are habitual, like the weather. This morning here in Michigan, where I am, it's a little bit cloudy. It looks like it's going to rain. Now, I could be like, oh crap, it's going to be a rainy day. The rain is fine. Like, why do we complain about so much of it? It's too hot, it's too cold. It's rarely perfect, right? But then when we do have those perfect days, it's like, oh, it's such a beautiful day. But someone will say, oh, the sun's too bright, right? So it's like all these little things that people say and how we talk about the weather. The way that I discern if it might trigger the stress response or not is noticing if your body's tensing or is it relaxed and open. So if you start like making a complaint, like I can't, I've told you so many times to pick up the dishes or whatever it is. Like there's this complaint in here. Your face is tight, your shoulders are up, your body's like, That's a clue. That's a clue that you might have already triggered fight or flight, but you surely probably will, if your body's getting that tense and tight. If you stay really open and instead of complaining, you're just like, "Oh, would you please pick up the dishes tonight?" Like in just a really nice voice. Probably you're going to get a different response than the tight um mode of being anyway. But also you're probably not going to trigger fight or flight. That's huge. It's huge. So in pressure free, we don't just work on the big things, the big stressors, money, relationships, health. Yes, we work on those, but we've got to dig in and look at the subtle ways we're triggering the stress response because those tend to be the very habitual ways, and complaining is definitely a clue. I was coaching, well, actually, it was a speaking engagement. There were probably about 150 people in the room, and I did a breakout. I did the first breakout, which was talking about uh, how do you feel, what sort of feelings could cause you to trigger the stress response, like feeling anxious or annoyed or angry. So they broke out and they were talking about that. And then came back as a full group and I'm sharing some more things about pressure free. And then I had the next breakout be um, talk with your partner about what you complain about. When I put that into action and they broke into twos and started doing that, the volume in the room just skyrocketed. People were laughing. They were like, I can't believe that I complain about this, but I complain about it every day. And you could hear all these like almost outbursts of I can't believe I complain about that and oh, I always complain about that. And so as they were sharing, they were figuring out, oh wow, I didn't realize I do complain about that, and I complain about this too. Like people were really um, getting ideas, or it was opening up to them just how much they complain in the day. And that was the whole point of that little exercise was to like get the creativity going on. Okay, what do I complain about? Could be such a stupid little thing, but you're doing it every day. And so that tension actually affects every cell of your body. If you trigger the stress response, you compound that exponentially. So no wonder we have so much chronic disease in our society, like serious chronic disease. We have a lot of unhappiness and loneliness. It's complaining usually often has a judgmental component to it. If you're complaining about a person, there's a judgment in there. And I notice in some other societies that there's far less judgment than ours. And there are other societies that are even more judgmental. Um, but it's interesting to note if there's judgment in these complaints. Oh, my son and daughter-in-law's little dog is by my feet. I don't think she'll come up. She's very cute. She slept with me last night. So yeah, complaining. It's one of those other things, just like how I talk about step two of pressure freeze, noticing your triggers. Don't beat yourself up if you see things that you've been complaining about forever and it's worn you down. Um, Play with this. Just kind of have fun with it. And you can smirk when you smile to keep that's the number one tool I'm going to give you is like the power of the smile. So when your corners of your lip mouth are going up, you release neuropeptides that allow your brain to stay focused so you can make good decisions, you have more willpower, you can remember like this is a thing. So corners of the mouth going up, that allows those neuropeptides to help the neurotransmitters continue to work for you. So you're keeping your brain on, and then you can actually make a different choice in how you want to respond to things without a complaint or a tension, but actually staying open. So smile is the thing. And notice too, like take a look, go in the mirror and actually watch yourself smile. Do the corners go up or is your smile more like round? Pause for a moment, put your lips together and see if you can get the corners to really go up because that apparently is the neuroscience thing that will keep those neuropeptides going. So I notice people's different smiles too. Even if there's just a little engagement here, that's very helpful to you. Can see that little engagement, like little muscles working there. Okay. Um, and then the other tool that I want to give you today is something that I taught yesterday. I was working with a group of business owners and CEOs and COOs, and I shared, I talk about getting into a frame with your body. Those are the H's, if you've seen that video of mine. Um, but a very simple way to change your body that informs your mind that everything is okay is just to lift your ribs up away from your waist. So my body coach, Leela Veronica, taught me this one. Just lift your ribs up away from your waist. Like if I'm down like this, like my back is in a C curve, like my lumbar curve isn't very good. But just lift your ribs up away from your waist, your hips, and now feel back, and you've got a gorgeous lumbar curve. You just like expanded yourself. Look how many inches I went up the screen, right? So ribs up, corners of the mouth up when you start to notice yourself having a little bit of a complaint. And now you're going to have your full faculty with your brain to be able to choose the response, assuming that you haven't triggered the stress response yet today. The reason I like to do these in the morning is to hopefully prevent a release of stress hormones for you, at least in the first bookend of your day, the morning. Uh, and the thing about pressure free, this is the thing where I just step right next to my clients. In order to have a true breakthrough, you need to go an entire day and not release those hormones. So that's why I built my coaching program, because it usually takes people about 6 to 8 weeks before they have that breakthrough. It was 8 weeks for me when I had my first level of breakthrough with pressure free. And then I've had subsequent breakthroughs, which is why I built Mastery. So we go through the first 3 month program, and then if you need more or want more, we customize that, or you can just drop into my group program and choose how many one-on-ones you want with me in a year. But that just keeps this up leveling going because there's so much to learn. It's like we just touch the tip of the iceberg when we start all this. And so in that first 3 months, but typically people get their breakthrough at 6 to 8 weeks. What is that? That means they've gone the entire day and they haven't triggered even once. So now when they wake up in the next morning, it's like you just hit that reset button. Every cell of your body is rejoicing because it finally got a night of sleep where the lymphatic system in our brains can actually do all the cleaning and our lymphatic system can do all the cleaning. Otherwise, all night long, our body is just trying to dissipate those stress hormones out of the cells and get back to homeostasis. That's a lot of work for the human body, which is why people don't get into a deep delta wave sleep. It's why they don't wake up with energy. So if you wake up sluggish or tired, if you're not waking up fully, ready to go, the issue probably is just way too many releases of stress hormones the day before. So your body didn't actually get rest. Your body was working and not cleaning its systems the way it naturally does. That's so powerful. Most of my clients gain hours of productive time in their day. They wake up energized. They sleep deeply every night. I have one woman, she worked with me about 4 years ago, and I had a little alumni night where I invited people who've gone through the program to come together and talk. And she said to everybody, it's been 4 years that I've been sleeping well, never slept well my whole life. And now for 4 years, nearly every single night, I'm getting a great sleep. So if sleep is an issue for you, pressure free is so powerful. Let's go back to the topic today, though. That's complaining. So take a moment and just, throughout your day, just take these little micro moments and just notice, is your body tense? Is your body expanding? Do you need to lift your ribs? Do you need to smile a little bit? Do you need to expand open? Just keep noticing what might cause you to complain. Could be traffic, could be something at work, could be someone at work, could be something at home. What are the little things you complain about? And And those are moments, those micro moments are what pressure free is all about. When we start cleaning those up and stop releasing stress hormones over some of these small things, you hear that phrase, and there's the book, I can't remember who wrote it. No, don't sweat the small stuff. But we can't sweat the big stuff either. Like, we can't release stress hormones over anything if we truly want to be healthy and want to have our full faculty of our brain to be able to create what we want and make our lives what we want. All right, have a great pressure-free day. I care about you, and if you need some help, please DM me or go to my site, lingalls.com. You can see a little name in the corner here, or pressure-free.com will get you there too. And you can just hit the book a call button, and we can have a conversation. I can learn about you, what's going on for you. You can feel free to share anything with me. You will experience a judgment-free zone. Um, this is a judgment-free zone and pressure-free, unconditional support and love, because judgment just is one of those things that is so triggering. And that's why I mentioned like judgment is something that gets into complaining. And that's why there's this usually a tension um, with whomever is involved in the complaining situation too. All right, so have a great day. Bye.